And then that could lead us to the tangent of the old lady in the airplane. So on my last trip, the shorter trip to Japan, on my way there, I wasn't in business class, so I had someone sitting next to me, and it was a nice Japanese older lady. I don't know, it's like kind of hard to guess Asian people's age, right? But I would say she's probably like 50 plus. And so I kind of like spoke Japanese to her, like I think I was like getting out of the seat or getting into the seat or something, and I was like, "Shitsureshimasu." Oh yeah, I was getting into the seat. I was saying "Shitsureshimasu," and she was like, "Oh, you speak Nihongo," and then she started talking to me from the get-go already. Yeah, she was quite talkative, and I was really tired, but I'm not social. But as always, when I am being put in a position where I have to, or I don't have to, but like, I'm gonna be polite, you know? I'm gonna communicate, and I'm gonna show interest in the other person that I'm talking to, even if it's a stranger. I'm gonna ask questions, like, as they are asking me questions. I'm gonna, like, give them the impression that I am a person who likes to communicate. I accommodate, and I adjust. I have a high social skill level. Yeah, I'm not social, but I'm social when I need to be. So we were talking, and she tells me, and this is where she actually caught my actual interest. I was actually genuinely interested in hearing more. We're talking in Japanese, but early on she already tells me she's been living in Austria for, 30 years. So usually Japanese people, no shade, but most of them can't even speak proper English. When they can speak like conversational English, that's pretty impressive. But then the thing is, she spoke fluent German too. I mean, sasuga, I guess. If you live in Austria for that many years, for 30 years, I guess you are gonna end up learning it. And so, like, she told me she has a business, and she's been living there forever. She told me all about her business. I'm not gonna say what it is, because that's gonna go a little bit too far. You guys are gonna find out who she is. But yeah, she told me about her business. She told me about, living in Austria, and what she thinks of it, and that she lived in like several cities in Austria. And eventually, when I told her from what city I'm actually from, she was like, "Oh, I lived there too." And I'm like, "What?" She lived in more places in Austria than me, honestly. I only lived in 2, really. She tells me everything, and it was like, she got me really hooked. I was really interested. I was fascinated. She loves classical music and all that, which is what led her originally to have an interest in Austria, I guess. I find it so fascinating though anyway, because like, even if you have an interest in Austria, it is unlikely, like kind of unusual for a Japanese person, especially alone, to like even travel in the first place. Like, traveling is not that common, but then move like pretty much permanently to Austria out of all places. That it's like really rare. It's really rare. Like, some cases, like, there's like, like maybe a couple, like a married couple, a man and a woman, where the man usually, like, this is a common occurrence, where the Japanese male counterpart will have, like, through his company in Japan, will be like transferred to another country, and the wife comes along. This is very common, right? But just this woman alone, the male specimen, the woman alone, opening up her business in Austria, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference here. The other case is more often, but her going on her own and then like learning German and everything, like, whoa, huge respect. So cool. It was really interesting to hear from her, even though I was dead tired, but we yapped a lot, and it was a pleasant company, and she liked to hear a lot from me too. And we were like exchanging all kinds of yaps, and well, I was like interested in her story, but she was, I guess, so delighted with my presence, as everybody is, of course. She did, like, every now and then throughout this super long ass flight, every now and then she would kind of like hint at things. Like, she'd tell me about like this restaurant that she knew, or this cafe or so, And I'd be like, oh, I haven't been there. And she like kind of hints that she would like, she wouldn't say it directly, but it's like kind of a hint that she might want to go with me. And I'm like, well, if she's not gonna outright ask me, I'm not really gonna go out of my way to hang out with a stranger 50-year-old lady. I mean, you know, I'm having fun with this conversation, but like, I don't even with people around my age, I honestly really try to not initiate new friendships for years now, because there's like, I know I don't have time for it. And I know in the past when I did have like a new friendship, there was like a case where that person was really disappointed in me not being very there. And I'm like, well, I mean, this is just how it is for me, honestly. My best friends, my best friend circle, they know that we're all like that, but we still, you know, we love each other, we support each other, but we don't need to be on each other's butt cheeks all day, you know, every day. No, we rarely meet. We don't need to reassure each other the whole time of our friendship by meeting up. And I need friends like that. I need friends who understand that and who are fine with it and who are probably the same. Yeah, low maintenance. So I'm really low maintenance myself, because I need low maintenance people too. I mean, I don't know, maybe if I was dating someone, maybe I would be less low maintenance. But when it comes to friendships, I'm very low maintenance. Like, leave me alone. Let me be. I don't want to talk to people most of the time because my job is talking to people all the time. So, you know, I need to recharge my social batteries. I mean, I'm having fun talking to you guys, you know. It's my job, but it's also like, I really enjoy it. It's kind of different, I guess, yapping towards a screen than like having to constantly be out and about in like bars or whatever, or parks, and like talking to people face to face. Although when it's with my friend circle, I enjoy that too. But could I be doing that every day? No. I can do it on stream though. Yeah, you guys can't yap back. You're at my mercy. Yeah, it's like very different. I'm not, even in my own age range, I'm not looking for new people to befriend. I have my hands full. I'm happy with the friends I have, which is kind of sad because like I'm sure that some people I meet along the way could be interesting friends to have if I had more time to invest in them. So it's kind of like, you know, like could be like I'm, so to say, missing out on something. Well, nah, I'm happy with what I have. But then, of course, even more so, I'm not really intrigued by making like a serious, like unserious, a friendship with with somebody who's like several generations older than me, who lived in Austria for longer than I am old. Which is fascinating though. Fascinating. Anytime I'd love to sit next to her in the airplane. But yeah. It's nice to have older friends. Bruh! No, generally like No, not an issue itself. Yeah. Although, like, I mean, I will say she was kind of racist, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, she was overall super interesting. But would I think, like, we could be friends? Probably not. Because, like, she... Because, like, I would ask her, like, okay, so you've been living in Austria for that long. Would you wanna like be there forever? Are you ever gonna go back? And she would say, yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back. And then she would tell me how Austria just isn't the same as 30 years ago. And I'm like, oh, I actually cannot stand witness to that. But then yeah, she would like, you know, complain a little bit about how 30 years ago there weren't so many foreigners in Austria, apparently. Foreigners? Well, it's not really foreigners though. It's like, you know, immigrations, stuff like that. But she would say it like in a really polite tone. She's a foreigner. Right. But like, I mean, so, well, you know, unfortunately, she means a specific type. You know, and I was just like, so desu ka? Oh, is that so? Oh, 30 years ago, oh, it was different, huh? Well, and that's where I would like This was later throughout the flight, like in the later half, and I was like, well, I mean, I don't know what to say to this. So I was just like, yeah, she got too comfortable with me. But she's still super nice though, that's the thing. I don't know, it's like, let's not talk too much about this topic, right? But well. But I'm glad she still liked Austria enough to like live there for a long time. And honestly, like if you are from a completely different culture and you move somewhere completely different and you live there for a long time, you see like a lot of bad sides to it too. And would I say that foreigners are a bad side? I would say no, but but okay, that's for her. She would see things that they're not so happy with, that they not really appreciate. Another thing we talked about was like graffiti, and I agree with that. Like, fuck that. I really love that in Japan there's like almost no graffiti. Beautiful buildings are just being left alone. I don't want to completely like dunk on her now. She was a really nice lady. But then at the baggage pickup, like we went to the immigration together still, and then I was like, is this where we say, like, it was getting awkward, like, where are we gonna say goodbye? And then I was like, oh well, I'm going through a different line, so I guess this is goodbye. But she was like, I'll wait for you outside. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I get for the immigration, and then she actually had a longer line than me, so I went to idol meeting, and I was like, but she's expecting to see me, so I should still look out for her. I get out of the idol meeting, I look out for her, I find her, and I'm like, I go up to her, I already have my luggage and everything, and she's like happy to see me again, and she's like this whole time, and now again, she's like kind of hinting towards like, kind of like wanting to hang out, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, she's nice, but you know what? Just to make this departure smoother for us and less sad, I will kind of initiate it because I can tell she kind of wants it. So she mentioned some cafe again while we're waiting for her luggage. And I'm like, I gotta go, someone's like waiting for me. But like, if you want, here, you can write down your number in my phone. And she was like, okay. She was like super happy about it. And I like, when things calm down for me, I'll contact you. Now, I don't think she's too sad that ever since I haven't contacted her. There could also be the benefit of the doubt for her that she maybe put her number in wrongly. Like I just made her write it in a notepad. Yeah, she's still, that's it. I know it's like sad, but like I don't have time for more friendships and like hanging out, and maybe things never calmed down for me. Or they really didn't. I think she's still in Japan right now anyway. Her trip was kind of long, she said. She'll be fine. I know, I feel like, but I feel like I would have felt more shitty if I wouldn't have asked her for her number. She kind of really wanted me to have her number. I think we needed this to end like that. You know what was really cute though? I would tell her about my cats, and I would show her pictures of my cats. She was like, can I take a picture? Like, can I have the picture, so to say? And I'm like, yeah. But the way she said it sounded kind of funny. I was like, what? How are you gonna have this picture? But then she takes her phone and she takes a picture of my phone screen, of my photo of my cat on my phone screen. And that seems to, yeah, that's such an old people thing. That seems to be a thing she like does a lot, because she showed me a few pictures of like other people's pets and plants and so on her phone, which were also pictures from pictures. It's such an old people thing. It's so cute. I was like, yeah, sure, you can take a picture of my cat's picture. That is precious. Now she has a picture of a stranger from the airplane from like her cats on her phone. She could be, yeah, honestly, she might be like 60 actually. She probably was older than 50. What do you think? Does that sound like a thing that 50-year-olds will do? Turns out she's 70. She might as well. Nah, I don't think she was 70. 60 max. I didn't ask her for her age, of course, because I am a gentleman. Told her my age because she like was curious, but I didn't ask for hers. I have manners. I was curious, but if she's not gonna reveal it on her own, then I'm not gonna ask. Well, it was an interesting encounter. Better than like having someone like rude or so. I mean, I most of the time I appreciate when the person next to me is just completely quiet and we don't talk a single word. Cause like there's always this problem. Like I've had this many times. Cause like if you are on such a long flight with somebody, you kind of want to make it somewhat pleasant for the other person next to you, so you want to be like polite. But when you start talking, you open up this window for conversation. Like when you start like in the beginning of the flight and then you have 12 hours or so ahead of you, it's like, how much are we gonna talk? If we aren't gonna continue talking after greeting each other, it's going to be actually awkward. I've had the situation many times. You start up something like nice to meet you, whatever, like simple words, and then it's like awkward. What now? Should we continue this? Should I throw out some questions, some topics? Or should we just leave it at that? But then it's forever awkward. Put on a movie. That's how I sometimes, because I was like too tired, sometimes I would escape the ladies' yaps sometimes by being like, okay, I need to sleep or I need to watch something now. Because that was also sometimes it was awkward. I was like, I'm so tired. I don't want to talk anymore. My throat hurts from talking so much on this dry ass airplane. I'm pulling these topics out of my ass now. Really trying my best to make conversation here, because like she's trying to have conversation too. It's only awkward if you make it that way. Well, yeah, everything's awkward for me, Everything's awkward for me.